Have you ever come across a story so powerful that just reading it out loud is believed to wrap you in divine protection? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. We're talking about a sacred Hindu scripture that's absolutely packed with cosmic battles, fierce goddesses, and of course, the ultimate triumph of good over evil.
Here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at what this divine storybook actually is. Then we'll march through its 3 epic triumphs. After that, we'll get into the power of Shakti and why it all matters. And finally, we'll see how it's still a living, breathing tradition today.
All right, first things first, what in the world is the Sri Durga Saptashati?
So at its core, this is a foundational Hindu text. You might also hear it called the Devi Mahatmya or the Chandipath. The central plot? It's all about the victory of the divine goddess Durga over some seriously powerful demons who are threatening the balance of the entire universe.
You know, the name itself actually gives you a big clue about its structure. The whole epic is made up of exactly 700 verses. Saptashati literally translates to 700. And these verses aren't just standalone. They're part of a much larger scripture called the Markandeya Purana.
But here's the thing, this is so much more than just a collection of cool battle stories. On a much deeper level, it's this powerful allegory. Every demon, every battle, it all symbolizes the timeless struggle between Dharma, that's righteousness and cosmic order, and Adharma, which is all about chaos, greed, and evil. It's truly a universal story of light winning out over darkness.
Okay, now let's get to the good stuff, the action. The whole text is built around 3 incredible, epic tales of cosmic war.
These 3 sections are called charitras, which basically means episodes. Each one introduces a totally different form of the goddess and a new set of demonic enemies she has to face down.
The first episode kicks off right at the dawn of creation. Lord Vishnu is in his cosmic slumber when 2 demons, Madhu and Kaidabaha, just pop into existence. They represent this kind of deep-seated ignorance and ego, and they immediately threaten to destroy the creator god, Brahma. To save everything, the fierce goddess Mahakali is manifested straight from Vishnu's own being to take them on.
Now the second episode is probably the most famous one. This is where we meet the powerhouse buffalo demon, Mahishasura, who's the ultimate symbol of unchecked ego. He's already beaten all the gods and taken over the heavens. So in total desperation, all the male gods pour their divine energies, their Shakti, into a single, blindingly brilliant light. And from that light emerges the magnificent goddess Durga, armed with a weapon from every single god, ready to fight the demon that no one else could touch.
The final episode is all about the goddess Mahasaraswati battling the demon brothers Shumba and Nishumba. And this fight is so intense that other powerful goddesses have to emerge to help out. The most famous moment? The ferocious goddess Kali literally springs from the main deity's forehead to destroy the demon generals Chunda and Munda, who represent out-of-control passion and anger.
So, okay, these are some absolutely incredible epic stories. But why have they stayed so central to worship for literally centuries? What's the deeper power going on here?
This is the crucial point. For devotees, the Saptashati isn't just a book of myths, it's a mantra shastra. What does that mean? It means every single one of its 700 verses is considered a powerful mantra, a sacred sound formula that has real, inherent spiritual power. So the very act of reciting it is a profound spiritual practice.
And that idea beautifully sums up the core philosophy of Shaktism, which is the tradition this text comes from. It basically says that the ultimate, supreme reality of the universe is a feminine power, Shakti. She is the source of all creation, and she acts like a divine mother protecting all of existence.
So, why do people recite it? Well, for all kinds of reasons. Believers chant these verses seeking everything from divine protection against negativity and harm to blessings for worldly success, all the way to the biggest spiritual goal of all, moksha, which is liberation from the endless cycle of rebirth.
And that brings us to our last section. How does this ancient text still play a role as a living, breathing part of worship in the modern world?
Well, its biggest stage, by far, is during Navratri. This is a huge 9-night Hindu festival celebrated all over the world, and it's dedicated entirely to the goddess. The daily recitation of the Durga Saptashati is an absolute cornerstone of the celebration in millions of homes and temples.
And this isn't just a casual read-through. There's a formal ritual called the Path Vidhi. Before even starting the 700 verses, devotees chant specific preparatory hymns, like the Devi Kavacham, which is a hymn for divine protection, to really set the spiritual stage and ask for the grace to complete the reading properly.
And you know what's great? Today, this text is more accessible than it's ever been. Publishers like Gita Press put out these beautiful, illustrated versions that have translations from the original Sanskrit. This lets whole new generations and people who don't speak Sanskrit not only recite the verses, but actually see and understand the deep symbolism in these timeless stories.
So let's end with this thought. The Saptashati is all about this epic battle between divine forces and demonic ones. But what if we see these demons not just as monsters out there, but as forces inside of us, like greed or anger or ignorance? It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the demons we're being called to face in our own lives today?